starting lineups. First for the Pirates. Leading off at EP number 17, Emery Bell. Batting second at second base, number 2, Daniela Clark. Batting third at shortstop, number 10, Riley Glenn Millhouse. Batting fourth at catcher, number 19, Torrin Alexander. Batting fifth and in the circle, number 20, Sofia Ituarte. Batting sixth and in right field, number 8, Cadence Garza. Batting seventh at first base, number 16, Macy Gilman. Batting eighth in center field, number 9, Erica Otto. Batting ninth in left field, number 13, Emily Navarez. And the flex for the Pirates at third base, number 24, Julissa Hernandez. The Pirates are coached by Alexis Lynn. And now the starters for your Texas Lutheran Bulldogs. Leading off at second base, number 7, Kaylee Clark. Batting second in center field, number 24, Annie Kay. Batting third in left field, number 3, Harley Russell. Batting fourth in right field, number 9, Taylor Vanette. Batting fifth at EP, number 40, Serena Gonzalez. Batting sixth at first base, number 30, Faith Hernandez. Batting seventh at third base, number 12, Avery Ortiz. Batting eighth at catcher, number 21, Bella Rodriguez. Batting ninth at shortstop, number 77, Lindsay Leal. And in the circle for the Bulldogs, number 22, Amanda White. The Bulldogs are coached by head coach Wade Wilson in his 14th season.
Hello, fans, and welcome into Mork Softball Field here at Ed Cruzy Stadium. My name is Sydney Cox, and I'm here with Chris Jones, and we will be on the call today for Game 1 of this Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference Series between Southwestern University and the Texas Lutheran University Bulldogs. Chris, it's good to have you here. It's your first time in the booth with me.
Correct, it is.
Any initial thoughts?
I'm excited to be out here and, support our softball team. It's always exciting, fun to watch winners, so it'll be a good day.
And we will see Amanda White in the circle today for the Bulldogs, and the first batter she'll see is Emery Bell for the Pirates. Bell is the DP, actually. Coming into today hitting solid .298. And weather today feeling nice as well, 89, but the wind is blowing straight in as that ball hit over to right field. Vanette makes the easy grab there for out number 1.
Pretty windy here today, and always fun to see how that affects the game. I don't have an exact number, but
I've seen how it's affected them before.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping that won't be the case here today.
And you've done your time, so absolutely fun. The flag's breezing around back there. I guess you can't see it from the camera right now, but
my dad always told me too, if you can catch a fly ball in this wind, you can catch a fly ball anywhere.
Absolutely. Nothing like those old catch games. Some of the best life lessons come from those. He's now up for the Pirates is number 2, Daniela Clark, at a 2-1 count. And a White down the middle, that's fouled off. 2-2 now. Another foul ball tipped back. I'm less experienced here with softball, but, a common theme, I've seen this baseball season is I've had a lot of long at-bats, getting up 7, 8, 9 pitches. And, I'm interested to see how the Pirates will handle White today. This knockout of a pitcher she's been for the Bulldogs all season.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like every game that I've called this year here at TLU and at UTSA, as White swats the fly out of the air for out number 2, I've seen long at-bats everywhere. I mean, that one right there, 7 pitches. And I think early on in the game, it's good to see from the Pirates, especially facing someone like White, who's now on the Player of the Year watch list.
Correct.
So that's got to be intimidating, especially at this point. She's the grandma on the team.
Correct.
She's thrown against, 18-year-olds, and can be a little scary.
Absolutely. Up for the Pirates now, number 10, Riley Glenn Millhouse. I guess she came up a little while. We're a little behind there, but a little bit of storytelling. 2-1 count now.
And now, so this is your first time here in the softball realm, and you weren't here last year for the conference tournament.
That ball fouled, or not fouled, but just right into that gap there.
Well, and it stayed in the air for so long, too, because the wind kept pushing it up. I think any other day, Kay can come in and make that grab, but the ball just refused to be caught, I think.
And, it's going into the wind. It already has backspin coming off the bat, and that just died in a great spot there.
Yeah, I love it.
But Glenn Millhouse is going to get on base for the Pirates, and the Bulldogs going to look to work.
This is Torin Alexander, her name. I thought it might have been Taryn, and then I had to look at the pronunciation guide, and it's Torin.
Torin Alexander.
Isn't that weird?
A little foul tip, and that's going to be over. 1-1 count now. to Miss Alexander. Alexander batting .365 on the year, so, pretty good. Going to be, you got to bat the ball well to be, the three-hole of any team, but, she's had a great season so far. And Southwestern, one of those teams, they're 13-15, which you think, oh, that's not great. But, they're 11-7 in conference as White completes a strikeout. But, it's one of those teams that's always going to get up to play TLU. So,
and I think just about everyone will, but especially this team, which we'll mention more next inning. We got some cool facts for you guys. But we will head into the bottom of the first right now. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, fans. Bottom of the first inning here, as no one other than Kaylee Clark will lead things off. We've got Sofia Ituarte on the mound.
And, should mention, the excellence of Kaylee Clark.
Yeah, you should.
Steals a lot of bases and, big part of what the Bulldogs do. And wow. That is just barely going to stay fair. That could not have been executed any better there from Clark.
That's beautiful, especially because she's kind of been struggling a little more this year, and so I really like that look, and that's the best part about being a lefty like Clark, is you can do a lot of things, or you can be like Kay and switch which side you want to hit on.
That's pretty nice. And she's immediately just going to go for second, and she's going to get it right away. And, I saw an interesting statistic. It was a team stat. I think it was on Flow Sports College Softball this morning on Twitter.
Yeah.
But averaging 5.27 stolen bases per game.
I saw that.
And leading Division III, and that's kind of been, something that the Bulldogs have always done, is Clark's just going to take off again, and she gets it easy.
And behind the plate, let me see who that is. That's Torin Alexander.
And Kay going to go ahead and switch mid at bat.
Yeah. Which she switched after the first
Was
pitch.
it after? I guess she's just trying to stay in the way.
Exactly, yep. And Alexander behind the plate, she's a junior. I don't believe she's had too much PT before this year, but she's kind of getting a welcome in from this team so far.
Good cut, but it's going to go right at second. But Clark going to go ahead and come on through. And the Bulldogs going to take a 1-0 lead. Now up for the Bulldogs, number 3, Harley Russell.
Well, and that's such great fundamental baseball and softball right there. Steal a couple bases, then hit the ball to the right side of the field. Just an easy way right there.
And I like how, every at-bat, the Bulldogs show bunt and, get the infield to move around and then, maybe go do whatever they're going to do. But, Coach Wilson and his team, he's got them so commanded on offense. Or I say that's not the right word. I guess disciplined. And
that's a better word. Yeah.
Capable, the fact that you have a 2-hole batter that can, switch to block the throw down and make it harder, it's pretty impressive. The fact that you could throw Clark out there and she can steal it every time, So it makes for really good softball.
Well, and it's funny because I've even seen it before where he made a righty move over to the left-handed side just so she could block the way in a very, dire situation. It was honestly pretty funny because she looked at him like he was crazy, and he was like, I just want you to stand there, please.
And you got to do what you got to do. 3-1 count now to Alexander. No one on for the Bulldogs. Harley Russell battling here. Runs through it. Little touch off the foot there, soccer style from Coach Wilson. Keep that ball from getting past.
Yeah, I don't think playing soccer is on his resume.
Probably not.
Getting a confirmation there.
Yeah, no offense to Coach Wilson, but does not seem like the type.
Big strikeout looking there from Duarte. Just froze Russell up on the outside part of the plate.
Now Taylor Vanette, number 9, up for the Bulldogs. Same outside corner, but that time going to be a ball.
And also, too, what's fun about this lineup is you will have 6 lefties in a row. 5 here in the top of the order, but when you get down to Leal and she turns her over.
Little chopped ground ball there to the shortstop, and going to go ahead and make the play at first. But, yeah, 6 left-handed batters in a row. Yeah, I only can imagine how many more. So, exciting stuff from the Bulldogs as they take the lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first, and we'll be right back. And welcome back here, fans. Top of the second. Sophia Ituarte, the pitcher, up to bat now.
Not very often we see that here.
No, very odd. And Megan White right down the middle again. Well, I guess the last one was a bit high, but 1-1 count to White. Nice pitch there from White. 1-2.
Looks like she's throwing with some good velo today.
Absolutely. That ball firing across the plate.
Especially, too, we're seeing it affect these hitters. All of them have been pretty late, I'd say, besides the hit by Riley Glenn Millhouse. She's kind of the only one that timed it up good.
I haven't seen a foul ball, off to the left. Little chopped single there. And it bounced short into right field.
I mean, it's crazy. All these balls, they look good off the bat, and then they just die.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Kind of off the bat, I was like, oh, that might go a little further in the gap and make Vanette take a deeper angle, but no need there as Cadence Garza steps in.
Pirates show bunt. Little slip up behind the plate, but no one takes off.
Yeah, I think if you're a base runner here, especially for the Pirates, you want to be anticipating any balls in the dirt, balls over the head mainly, with White throwing rise balls.
Bunt foul there. Scooped up by Bulldogs.
This is a big opportunity here right now for the Pirates with their leadoff runner on. It's a good take by Garza right there.
2-1 to White now. You know, and it's always interesting, you know, when teams show bunt, you know, your first base, your third base have to move up. Always interesting to see how they're going to cover. Strike there, so 2-2 count now for White. Garza hanging in there at the plate.
We'll see. I think missing the 2 bunts, no good, but just got to focus on having a productive at-bat now. That's all you can do. Try not to think about the missed-sacked bunts and get after something, driving the ball, moving the runner in some kind of way.
Absolutely. Little good swing of the bat there, and that's going to go right between the third base shortstop gap for another single. So back-to-back hits for the Pirates as Sofia Ituarte and Cadence Garza get on base. That's going to bring up Macy Gilman for the Pirates.
What a great hit, too. We saw Leal shifted towards second to kind of cover the double play or stolen base. That one deep. Russell makes the easy catch there. It's a nice ball by Gilman right there.
You know, on another day, that might be almost to the fence, to the warning track there.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, nice swing there.
I'm really liking the Pirate offense right now. They're being aggressive, and I like to think that I jinx teams sometimes. Whenever I say something about them, they tend to start doing the opposite.
Oh, yeah, curse the commentator. Absolutely.
So I really like how they've been timing up some of these balls. And
I would agree with you, Sydney. Up to the plate for the Pirates, number 9, Erica Otto. She is actually a Schulenburg Shorthorn. Fun fact.
A who the woulda?
Exactly. Schulenburg, little town out on I-10. Way back when, I watched her absolutely tear my school apart to send us home in the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
So.
What school were you at?
Port Aransas High. So.
Wow.
Little
that
2A
was deep
battle.
In the playoffs then.
Yes, it was. I think it was round 4.
Wow.
And they ended up losing to in-district Shiner, who won state. So.
Wow.
Always fun. In the regional final, I guess. But anyhow, 2-2 now to Otto.
Enough about me.
Yeah, no one wants to hear about me. Strike 3, swinging. And it's going to bring up number 13, Emily Navarez.
What a nice second out there, too, by White. Getting a little pumped up.
The Bulldogs looking to hold off, you know. First time, I guess, all game. Pirates been able to get on, put some pressure on the Bulldogs, but looking to escape. Now White's ahead. 0 balls to 2 strikes.
Yeah, looking at the roster, I think I'm only seeing 2 freshmen for this Pirate team. A good amount of sophomores, but for the most part, they're a very experienced team. Pretty aged, if you will.
Absolutely. Foul tip off the batter. Keep it at 1-2. You know, the Bulldogs kind of the same way. You know, very experienced. Maybe not always, you know, super old at every position, but, you know, they're win a lot of games and play a lot of games, you know, deep postseason runs. So,
I mean, honestly, looking in the field, I mean, I think I see maybe 4 or 5 girls that'll be graduating this year. That doesn't even include the ones on the bench, so yeah, experienced for sure. And even then, next up are their juniors.
absolutely.
So I think it's important for any team to kind of get these younger girls in, because once the old girls are gone, you're forced to step up.
Rise ball from White there, just a little bit high. 2-2 now. Little short fly ball, and Russell going to get underneath that one for the Bulldogs' third out. So that'll do it here for the top of the second, and we'll be right back.
All right, let's start things now. Bottom second, Serena Gonzalez up for the Bulldogs. And Sofia Ituarte remains in the circle.
That one going to be a little bit inside. 1-0 count now to Gonzalez.
And Serena, she's one, you know, we've talked about the factor of the wind, and sometimes it pushes the ball in. I have seen her defy that before.
Yeah, I know. I've heard, you know, I watched a couple, and yeah, I know she can crush the ball. Gets a good cut at that one, and that one going to die in the wind for a little fly-in single. Good spot there again, just kind of short into, you know, right field there.
And I think this is just this is a day where you're going to have to be okay with your popcorn farts.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to be okay with it. And because at the end of the day, I'm not marking down the stat sheet at hard line drive. I'm marking it down base hit or not. But running now is going to be number 4, Chesley Swisher, freshman for the Bulldogs. We saw her a little bit earlier this year. Has kind of come into more of a pinch runner role this year.
Guessing by that stance, I'm assuming she's there to do what she just did, which is, you know, move and take off. So little sacrifice bunt there, and she's going to make her way to third.
Yeah, really good job taking advantage of the open bag there. And the speed, too. I mean,
very fast. You know, I saw her loaded up, you know, getting ready to go there on first base, and I was like, oh.
You were like, oh, no.
You know, we know what she's in there to do.
Mm-hmm. A great sack bunt by Hernandez as well. Got to give the shout out there. 'Cause I love me some good fundamentals.
Pitch there a little bit inside and low.
I have a feeling that by the end of this weekend, or I guess you're not calling with me tomorrow, but by the end of tonight, I think I'm going to have a country twang to me.
Is that so?
It just might be.
Oh, my. Another one inside there. I hope mine doesn't sound too bad on here today.
No. No.
Occasional, you know, long vowels, and sometimes it'll creep up on me. That ball crushed. It won't get down in time. But Bulldog going to come through. So 2-0 now the score. Bulldogs up. You know, that was one of those ones, you know, Ortiz right there, you know, maybe didn't get underneath it enough. You know, it was on the line drive and kind of died right there in the glove of the Pirate left fielder.
Yeah, it's a great hit. I thought she got all of it and really just did her job of hitting something to the green. Makes it easy for Chesley to score from third base. Probably could have even walked in, honestly. Mm-hmm. That ball was deep. A little too far deep for Navarez out there and left.
Leal, a little chopped ground ball. And she is safe.
That's Rodriguez out there, actually. So not even the bigger speed.
Now comes Leal.
But still, Rodriguez kind of showing off some catcher speed right there.
Yeah, she, you know, impressive right there to run through the bag. So now Leal will come up to the plate. Starts looking, and Rodriguez is going to go ahead and take off that ball by. She's going to stay, so.
I don't think I've ever seen her steal a base before.
Really?
I swear.
Well.
I think I'm going to pull up the career stats, actually.
You do that, because now I want to know.
I don't think I've ever seen her straight up steal before.
Oh, and she's going to go again. That fouled off. Leal now, 1-1 count.
And this is a big spot here for Leal. I think the Bulldogs have some good momentum, so if she can find a way to get on and turn this lineup over for the top of the order, it's going to be really clutch here.
I would imagine they, you know, struggle to handle that first part of the order again. Ball a bit low there now, 2-1 count to Ituarte.
So it says she has 2 stolen bases.
Oh, there you go.
Or I'm sorry, 13. But some of those I know were on first and third, so I don't even count those.
3-1 now to Ituarte. Leal trying to hang in there. Ball 4. So Leal going to get walked, and that's going to turn the Bulldogs lineup over. To see Kaylee Clark come back up. The Bulldogs with a little momentum here with 2 outs.
And really not a bad spot either by Duarte. I thought it was a good location, just barely missed outside.
You know, she had that strikeout there on that outside corner against Russell early, you know, but hadn't been able to get it since. Pirates going to take a second. We'll be right back. 0-0. Little chop ball, but that's going to be picked up easy there by the Pirates. And we'll be right back.
All right, let's kick it back here in the top of the third inning as top of the order for the Pirates. Emery Bell.
Good pitch there from White, but umpire going to say it's just a little bit high.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of a tighter strike zone here today.
Very much so. That ball flown up and underneath it to make the play is number 30, Faith Hernandez, the first baseman. So the Bulldogs, pretty easy one right there. And, again, the wind probably helping out a little bit, keeping it just right there.
Well, and that's something you need to be conscious of, too. You don't want to pop the ball ups, and especially with White, who has more upspin on her pitches, you need to be more conscious of it and try and get on top of the ball a little more, because these fly balls aren't going anywhere today.
No, they're not. I'm curious, we don't have super advanced, stats and statistics, but I would love to know, about how much rotation she gets on it, because that ball moves quite a bit. And ball grounded out towards third base, making the play for the Bulldogs is number 12, Tavery Ortiz. It's now 2 down for the Bulldogs, and up for the Pirates, number 10, Riley Glenn Millhouse.
Something you don't see every day, where you swing at a pitch and hit yourself at the same time. You just miss and it hits you.
Well, you never watched me play baseball, so don't say that.
Are you going to do intramurals this year?
I did play intramural softball last year. I did hit 1 home run, so better than I was expecting. Of course, we couldn't beat the track and field team.
I have heard they're pretty good.
Men's basketball, we just couldn't get it done.
I played with a basketball team one time.
Then you know.
I'm just lucky the girls' basketball team was also with us.
And a little ground out to the shortstop, and Bulldogs going to go ahead and make the play for the third out. So we'll be right back with the bottom of the third. Welcome back, everybody. Up to bat for the Bulldogs now, number 24, Annie Kay. And she's going to watch that one in, so 1-0 count now.
I feel like we always have to mention, too, what side of the batter's box
Correct.
she's on whenever she's up. She's on the right side this time.
Watches the second ball, so now 2-0 count to Kay. Down the middle bunt, that is short. She's going to run through it. She is safe. And quite a bit of speed there from Kay.
Yeah, the throw just not a whole lot of pop on it. Could definitely be contributed to the win there, but
absolutely. And that's one of those ones, correct, but also that's one of those ones, you don't want to, put all the mustard on it that you've got. You make an error right there. But, they played it a little bit too safe, and, her speed ended up being too much from them.
Well, and unfortunately for head coach Alexis Lynn, there's nothing to argue. You cannot argue it,
Absolutely
in fact,
not.
because it's a judgment call. So, you can't safe her out in a situation like that, can't argue. Only thing you could maybe say was her foot off the bag, or...
I mean, really, she was all the way through, so can't really argue. And she's going to go ahead and take a base. I think that is 3 or 4 now on the steal count. And
I got 4.
you got 4, so I'll trust your stats.
Don't trust them too much.
Well, we are imperfect, biased home commentators. Little bunt, and that just barely goes foul. So now 1-1 count for Harley Russell.
It's a nice look right there.
If that gets down, makes it tough on, the third base side, to try and throw down Annie Kay or stop her from getting around. Going to take a big swing at that one. Wind pushing it, but Southwestern right fielder going to get underneath that one. And Kay stays home at second. It's going to be the Bulldogs' first out.
Yeah, especially it's frustrating with the speed that these girls have. You want to see more balls hit on the ground.
Especially here today.
And I want to test Southwestern more. I mean, how many plays have they made? And with your speed, you're going to be able to force them.
Oh, and an error there from Southwestern. Shortstop didn't cover. Guess they thought a bunt was coming, and the throwdown was to absolutely no one. And Kagan around the corner and come in for the Bulldogs. So now 3-0 lead for TLU.
And I like this right now. Scoring 1 every inning.
Absolutely.
It's a very safe way to do it. I mean, 'cause think about it. You score every inning, you're just 7 runs.
As long as we can hold the Pirates to 0, it'll continue to go like this. 2-0 count now for Ituarte.
And I do want to say, I feel like Ituarte has thrown pretty well. I think she's only given up 1 walk. I think she's been good at attacking hitters, throwing strikes.
Absolutely. Done a good job for the Pirates, but the problem has been the fielding, just can't quite come up with those outs, and walk there.
And more than anything, speed kills.
Absolutely.
Speed kills. I mean, they are making Alexander behind the plate. They are wearing her out. And I think she's probably feeling the frustration the most right now.
Absolutely. Chesley Swisher going to stay in for Serena Gonzalez. And Harley Russell going to take a base, so that is going to put us up to 5 there. But umpire saying she went too early, so she's going to go ahead and go on back. But something tells me, I guess she's out. That's right, I forget the rules on that. But, if the Bulldogs find a way to get on again, something tells me they're going to round.
I agree.
Go for the steal. That's one of those ones that's a bit unfortunate there. You got to execute, but inside strike given. It's 0-1 now. But, that's a tough call. And, when you put so much pressure on a defense and on the umpires, when you steal a lot of bases, that's bound to happen. So the Bulldogs can live with that one.
Absolutely. And the argument is the first base umpire. I mean, you see where he's standing. He's having to look at the runner on first, the batter at home, see if maybe she hits the ball off her, and also the pitcher. So he's having to have his eyes three ways. So really, we've seen him call a runner caught stealing early. I would not expect him to call an illegal pitch with a base runner on. Otherwise, I can tell you from experience, it's not going to end up very well for him.
Yeah, I imagine Coach Wilson would not be too happy.
Because you can't be cross-eyed. I mean, maybe you are.
That's one of those things, they teach you in basketball, when you're on the defensive side. They want you to see the ball. They want you to see your man. And they want you to be, facing away from the basket. But, it's hard, Your eyes only have so big a range. Little ground ball there, and the Pirates going to make a play. The Pirates shortstop to first. So that'll do it here at the top of the third. Bulldogs add another run, or bottom of the third. Bulldogs add a run, and we will be right back with the top of the fourth.
Leading up for the Pirates, the catcher number 19, Torrin Alexander.
And welcome back. Top of the fourth. Megan White going to look to get it going, and she does right there with an early strike.
Amanda White.
Said Amanda.
Oh, I thought you said Megan. Maybe I just got lost in the country twang.
Maybe I did say Megan. Maybe so.
maybe the country twang messed me up.
But either way, Amanda White going to throw a strike, and she's going to go ahead and double it and add in her second.
And this is Torrin Alexander, too. Not sure if you mentioned that, but she's had herself a day, not particularly a good one. I think really she's just been put in a really tough position behind the plate with this Bulldog offense.
It's tough, facing, the number 6 team in the whole of Division III, And, no offense to Southwestern, but, when you're kind of in, middle of the pack, middle of the hunt in the SCAC, facing a talented team like this that's so veteran heavy, it's hard, The Pirates are going to look to battle, when they can, and she's actually walked there. But, it's tough.
And what's awesome, too, is I think Southwestern was kind of same record last year, middle of the pack. But they came out in the conference tournament, and they did really, really well. They lost in the semifinal, I believe, to Trinity. But they just put up a performance. They beat some top dogs. They beat St. Thomas.
Yeah, and that's a great program and a great team. Going to have a pitch runner here, Callie Collier, senior pitcher out of Columbus, Texas. Going to go ahead and come in for the Pirates number 19, Torrin Alexander. Still no outs for the Pirates, or for the Bulldogs here. White looking to get it going here. Good little rise ball, but a bit high there. You know, she fires that thing in there. It's fun to watch.
She's just so strong. Like,
absolutely.
She actually is. Like, if you see her in the gym, it's kind of intimidating.
You know, I do. I see her in there every now and then. And, you know, she's one of those people, you know, you can tell sometimes when people are just really good at what they do and really hyper-focused, and she gets in there, she's so disciplined, she doesn't look at anybody, has her headphones on, you know, and she goes to work. And, you know, I imagine it's the same when she's, you know, throwing at practice, you know. You can imagine, you know, and that's kind of, you know, one of those things, you know, people say, you know, it takes to be great. But her day is going to end here. You know, great job by her today. Bulldogs going to look to freshen it up. Coming in for the Bulldogs, number 34, Caitlin Howard. And she's going to go ahead and warm up. So we'll
take
be
a quick little break.
Little break here in the top of the fourth.
And when we come back, we'll have all the stats for you guys.
And welcome back.
Caitlin Howard's going to come in and go ahead and throw a walk. Just a one pitch to Ituarte. So now Cadence Garza for Howard's first full batter here. And no outs still for the Bulldogs. Really, I think the Bulldogs are just looking for some strikes. That's really about it. With this wind, I mean, not too worried about the deep ball and the home run ball. Just want to let your defense play.
Yeah, looking to get it going here. Maybe pick up the pace a little bit. You know, if I've observed anything here about the Bulldogs, it's that they like to play fast. Yeah. You know, get back up to the plate. That ball dropping right into the zone there. So I'm not sure what the technical term is, but, you know, that little bit of side spin and drop, you know, very good pitch there from Howard. Please forgive me.
No, totally good. As long as you don't call it a breaking ball, we're good.
And Pirate's going to lay down a bunt, and that is foul.
She even went back-to-back changeups there, too, from Howard. Typically, we'll see if pitcher throws a bad changeup.
Don't go back to it. Absolutely.
Yep. But if you get a really good one there, and Howard does a really good job, she's got a great changeup with her. She's not afraid to throw it.
And that one a bit inside there.
So I believe we're going to get a discussion
like
here.
She swung to me, but I'm not quite sure. We'll have a replay for you guys, and we'll take a look.
So what I'm thinking is not so much the swing as that
she kind of got her there on the forearm.
What I'm thinking is that she
maybe
she was over the plate when it hit her.
Yeah, it looked like her elbow you know, and it's all the way over the white there.
And you have a right to your batter's box, but what you don't have a right to is over
Correct.
the plate. So if you're over the plate and it hits you, I mean, that's fair game.
And either way, over the plate, taking a swing. So I think it should be fairly routine, but
we have the easy job.
We do.
We can sit and watch the replay and watch the video.
and the umpire going to go ahead and get it right there, and going to give Bulldogs 2-2. Pirate coach not happy, though. I'm going to continue. She's going to now go back and talk to the other umpire. But, you know, this is kind of like beating a dead horse. You know, they've already decided you're probably not going to change their mind. So,
well, and what's hard being Division III is you don't have video replay. So if they did have it, then they could come back and say, we know for certain it was this way. And unfortunately, you kind of just have to take the decisions they make and run with them.
And that's honestly some of the beauty of it, I think.
I think
it's
so
really
too.
easy for us to sit here. You know, we have the best seats in the house. You know, make that kind of call, and a changeup drops low into the strike zone there for Howard. Their coach is not happy.
She's been kicked out of here before. I won't lie to you. I don't remember if it was a series game or in the tournament, but she's had to walk to the bus before.
And, you know, I have respect for coaches like that. You know,
I do too.
I think it's good, you know, especially, you know, in this kind of game, you know, the cards are stacked against you. You know, you're trying to make something happen, as that is Macy Gilman going to go ahead and strike out.
Well, and also for me, to see a coach fight for you in that way,
absolutely,
it really, really brings the energy.
Absolutely, and it would, you know, make me fired up, and, you know, I'd be, you know, I always appreciate hard coaching, and, you know, it makes you want to do well as a player, and knowing your coach will kind of go to battle with you is an important thing. 1-0 count now. Up to the box is Erica Otto, Pirate center fielder. Going to foul that one off her bat. 1-1 now. I think that's the first foul from the Pirates off into left field. And they've been kind of late the whole time. And I guess technically she's late as a, you know, left-handed batter, but interesting to see. Going to swing and going to miss for strike two. 1-2 count now to Howard. Looking to get the Bulldogs out of this jam here. Ooh, and goes for the outside there. As you seem to be a hair bit wide.
It's a great spot right there, too. With two strikes, kind of.
Yeah, when you're ahead right there, absolutely.
It's a great location.
Puts a lot of pressure on the umpire there. She goes for it again. Not as close this time to give her a full count. Ooh, and the changeup. She almost got it there, but again, just right there on that line. And the umpire, you know, calling a tight strike zone as we discussed. Bases loaded now for the Pirates.
That's a good spot. I mean, as a coach, you can't be mad about it.
Oh, gosh, no. And, you know, it's tough when you try it 3 times and don't get it. Fly ball out into left field. Harley Russell going to get underneath it and save the Bulldogs from a bases loaded situation. So the Bulldogs get out of the bottom or the top of the 4th there, and now they're going to look to go add on to their lead. We'll be right back.
Leading off for the Bulldogs, first baseman, 30.
And ground out there pretty quick there from Faith Hernandez. Nice pitch there.
Yeah,
but
nice one pitch out. Make it quick.
And a good cut there, but unable to run it out was Faith Hernandez. Now Tavery Ortiz up into the box. And the Bulldogs, you're trying to get it going here, with the 3-0 lead, but you're really looking to open this thing up. Changeup going to go ahead and be a strike there for Ituarte.
And Ituarte, I feel like she's given her team a chance. And I think that's all you can really ask for.
Absolutely. And, honestly, I think she's gotten better as we've gone. And she is kind of humming right now. Helping the Pirates stay in this thing. The Pirate offense, if that fly out there at the end is a ground ball, you never know what could have happened.
Or even if the wind's not blowing today.
Absolutely. If that sails over and, you never know.
Yeah, so, but she's continuously, inning after inning, giving them a chance. And the Bulldogs have had some chances to blow this one open, and she's kind of come in clutch.
Absolutely. Two count now to Ituarte. Tavery Ortiz going to get a rip on that one, and that is just barely foul up the left field line.
Tavery's someone that I always have a fun time watching, just because while she is strong and she can hit home runs, she just goes gap to gap, finds these holes and extra base hits. It's really fun to watch. And, of course, her energy is very fun as well.
Absolutely. And that kind of reminds me, I haven't watched or, called as much softball, but, out on baseball, Drew Burnett's the same way, Coach Burnett's son, and able to really place the ball well. It's always exciting watching good offense and a good hitter. Full count now. That's going to be high. And Tavery Ortiz is going to go ahead and take her base. First walk in a little while for Ituarte. And now up for the Bulldogs is Bella Rodriguez, number 21.
We'll see. It looks like that's going to be Riley Futrell coming out to pinch run for Ortiz there. Sometimes it's hard to tell if he wants a hitter or a runner.
Yeah.
He just kind of sticks his hands up and gives numbers, and he
sasses around a little bit.
Yeah, he expects you to read his mind. And we had an assistant coach before, Kyla Lockley, which she's done a good job of filling in and reading his mind. But that last assistant coach, she could read his mind like that.
Absolutely.
Just absolutely. And so Coach Lockley, she's settled in pretty well. She's been able to read the mind a little bit.
Fastball strike there for Ituarte. Down the middle again. Little chopping ground out. And first baseman Macy Gilman came off the bag there, but still got the tag. Kept her glove in the path of the base runner.
Absolutely. A really nice tag right there. I mean, that
you know,
Saves
that
the
throw
base runner.
a little bit off target. Yeah, but good play there to keep her, you know, in front. But either way, ground out, and that's going to go ahead and advance. Please forgive me, I'm drawing a blank.
Riley Futrell.
Riley Futrell out there. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
Now Lindsay Leal up to the plate. 1-0 count. Pirates going to take a look, but try and throw out Futrell, but she gets back in time.
Yeah, she's taking some good aggressive leads right there, kind of stretching it.
Absolutely.
Trying to read what the defense is doing.
Leal tries to run through that one, but grounded out right at the shortstop. An easy play for the Pirates. So score is going to stay 3-3, and we'll go to the top of the fifth. Please stay with us.
Leading off for the Pirates, number 17, Emery Bell.
And welcome back. Top of the lineup here for the Pirates as they're looking to score 3 runs, and they got 9 outs to work with. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Almost
trying
didn't
to
have
equalize here, but you know, Bulldogs obviously going to fight to try and keep that from happening. 1-1 count now to Emery Bell.
And I think the biggest difference of today's game so far has just been the Pirates not capitalizing on the runners they've had on base. They've left 6 on so far in this game. They've had the opportunities, just not coming through when they need it most.
And hadn't even seen them attempt to steal or, you know, try and bring people around yet either. And, you know, obviously very different looking lineup to TLU, but, you know, a bit surprising there. Anyhow, 2-2 count now to Emery Bell. Howard Riseball, bit high there. So now a full count. Little change up there. That is going to be fouled off into right field.
What a great pitch, and then what a great job by Bell fouling that one off.
To wait on it, absolutely.
And just throw it away, waste it away.
Full count again here. Howard going fastball, and that is going to be right at the TLU first base, and Faith Hernandez is going to make an easy play right there.
Easy
Bulldogs.
job.
Yeah.
Nice simple ground ball for the first out.
And she even, you know, bobbled it a bit there, but it didn't matter. She had all the time in the world, you know, took about 2 steps to the bag there.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just gotta, if you bobble it, just gotta stay calm.
Absolutely.
Know you have time.
Now Daniela Clark up for the Pirates, going to eat a strike there. Another changeup from Howard.
Such a great changeup. It's so fun watching her throw it. I never know when it's coming either.
Absolutely. But, you know, even from up high and over here, you know, you can see, you know, the change of height. You know, it's not on a line drive, you know, like a fastball or, you know, a different type of pitch.
And you see the more of the spin, too. Sometimes I think it's hard to see the spin from here. But, yeah, typically pretty good changeups, or even Ituarte just has a lot of natural spin on her pitches.
That flown out right towards second base, and Kaylee Clark going to make the play pretty comfortably there. She did a little bit of dancing and celebrating right there. Maybe trying to get her team fired up a little bit.
I don't know how much you follow softball, but yeah, last year Southwestern actually took a game.
That's right. And Riley Green Millhouse, pitch one, little cut fastball, got by Ortiz, but scooped up there by Lindsay Leal, and the Bulldogs try and get her out on the one hop, and just a hair bit late there.
Yeah, what a really close play there.
Absolutely. Leal didn't seem too convinced of the result there.
And you're taught as well, too, a ball like that deep in the 5-6 hole, go ahead and throw it on a line and let it bounce rather than trying to airmail it.
Absolutely.
Gets it there a little quicker.
Yeah, you know, the softball just doesn't travel. You know, it's so big. And so, good play there by the Bulldogs. Change up outside of the zone. Going to go ahead and get it. 1-1 count now for Howard, as Pirate batter trying to battle. And we must have missed it somewhere, as I believe we have a sub, or you're on top of it. That is Collier up the
Yeah,
box.
I think she actually stayed in.
After pitch running, I believe.
Yeah. Which then makes me think, okay, now who did I miss on defense?
It must have been Alexander, I think, because we didn't see her bat this time around.
But we'll keep y'all updated when we head back out.
Amateur commentators, as a reminder.
Shameful.
I'm doing pretty good. Usually in baseball, I miss about 2 or 3.
And they're going to say she went around for strike 3. Some drama there to end the inning, but
yeah.
We'll take.
And Southwestern's coach having some words. I love it. And so umpire kind of smiling and joking there, but don't miss out on the action. So we will be right back. And welcome back, everybody. Kaylee Clark up to bat for the Bulldogs. Goes for the bunt, but a little bit high and outside, and she didn't quite get her bat on it for strike 1.
I feel like this game has a lot of pent-up energy in it as well.
Absolutely. You know, it feels like it could just kind of explode and go one way or another at any moment. And Clark going to get to that one. She's going to run it through. She is safe. And a great job there by Clark, you know, defending, you know, the plate at an 0-2 count right there and finding a way to get on base.
Yeah, and Glenn Millhouse, she is such an athlete. I think she was just, I mean, those 2 steps that she had to make to her right was all the time that Clark needed to get on board here with a leadoff single.
Clark looking at it, but stayed home. And maybe looking over at Coach Wilson. Little double fist pump, whatever that could mean. Probably not anything. And Clark going to go ahead and go, and she is all day safe. And that is, what, her second or third stolen base of the day? Third?
Third. I have it as 3.
Reason she was the golden, I guess, cleat winner.
Yeah, golden. It's the golden shoe.
Golden shoe. I couldn't remember if it was shoe, cleat, or boot. Golden shoe. Okay, went ahead and switched. And was that given a strike?
He did call it as a strike.
Well, that kind of caught me off guard there. That was, you know, down there by her shin bones. But anyhow, 2-1 count now. Reminder that this is a home broadcast. You know, don't want to get in trouble too bad. Okay, going to go ahead and foul that one off into right field.
It's okay, fans. If I'm being too biased, you can yell at me.
Your YouTube comments, you know, only heard in the moment. It didn't sting too bad, so.
We're just here to have fun. And
absolutely.
This is a great game 1 of this series.
Okay. Gonna go ahead and get a ground ball, throw to first base, a little bit off target, and she had to step off. So Annie Kay with a single, and that went ahead and advanced Kaylee Clark now in scoring position. And bringing up for the Bulldogs, number 3, Harley Russell. And, you know, if you're Coach Wilson, this is exactly what you want to see, you know. Best part of your lineup, you know, in scoring position, and you know, arguably one of your best hitters coming up to bat.
Absolutely.
Kay going to go ahead and try and go. Now she has found herself in a pickle, and they're going to go ahead and throw it, and they tag out Kaylee Clark. And that was probably not executed in the manner that Coach Wilson would have liked there. And credit to this Pirate defense right there. You know, that's
really
a big-time stop for them. And for anybody, you know, big play there.
And what's important with rundown situations, too, is that you set the pace as a defense. So if you want to move fast, then you got to move fast. They're going to call obstruction there. I think second baseman might have accidentally said something, but umpire didn't count it against her.
The Pirate faithful, though, not too happy. And now Coach is coming out of the dugout to have more words with that umpire. Both hands on the hips. Look at that body language there. She is absolutely not having it. And we're going to try and get a look for you guys. Well,
fortunately, no replay available for this one.
Technical difficulty, but
I mean, that's such a hard call. Yeah, head coach Lynn not too happy there.
The umpire is going to have a word about it. But I like that right there from Annie Kay, you know, a little bit of an error, you know, right there. You know, and Coach Wilson was kind of waving her like, you know, and they will go ahead and rule safe. And Coach Lynn's still mouthing off at the umpires. Oh, and a little bit of point, and she's going to go back into the dugout. They probably told her, hey, you know, you need to get under control. You know, I like to think that umpires, you know, have the softest, you know, egos in the world. But
well, they're giving her a nice little warning there.
Absolutely.
Little citation.
Uh-huh.
So I think if she pushes any more buttons, especially if we have these two umpires tomorrow, I mean, definitely got to be careful.
Good chance.
And this is a huge series, too, because Southwestern took a game from TLU last year during the season, so a conference game.
Absolutely. And, we talked about it a lot when we played Southwestern last weekend in baseball. How important every win in this league is, with how many teams are in it, and how many games you play, it really starts to add up. Oh, and that is really unfortunate right there. Line drive right at the shortstop, and Kay had already taken off, so the Pirates make a double play to get out of that inning.
Wow, so despite the 2 base hits
Bulldogs
and 3
come
batters,
up empty. Absolutely.
We have 3 outs. So like you said, we're coming up empty, but now Pirates working with 6 outs here as we head into the top of the 6th. Please stay with us. And here we are, top of the 6th inning, and who other than the pitcher, Sofia Ituarte, hitting for herself here.
Howard going to start things with the strike there. Ooh, good pitch there, but a little bit inside for 1-1.
Now, Chris, why aren't you calling the games with me tomorrow?
Truthfully, I am being required to attend my little sister's AAU basketball tournament at Judson High School. So I'll be off watching some hoops, getting some quality family time. Inside again there for Howard. Great spot, 2-2.
Wow, so instead of having this lovely dialogue tomorrow, fans, you're just going to have to listen to me talk for 4 straight hours.
Remind me again, what time are the games? Is it 1 and 4?
1 and 3.
1 and 3. That's a shame. That is just right when I have to be in San Antonio. Of course, if you're from the area, you know that Final Four going to be going on too. So it is going to be quite fun moving around in that city tomorrow.
I will tell you, it was not fun driving here today. I think I saw 3 different accidents.
Oh, I believe it.
Coming down I-10.
Pitch inside there from Howard. And, Pirates still looking to fight here, keeping it close. Change up. And, wow, that was a ball just dropped, I guess, a little bit low in the strike zone there. Garza here battling. Pitch inside there from White, but Garza going to take a swing. So 2-1 count now.
And they are just attacking the inside part of the plate with Garza, too. She was the one who got hit her last at bat.
Correct.
They're just not afraid to attack it. I mean, she's really not too far on the plate either.
Good pitch there from Howard, going to make it 2-2. And, she even has backed up a little bit in the box. She was
really?
almost, toes on the line, leaning over. And, she's taking a couple steps back.
Okay.
At least that's what I've observed. And inside again, little fly up. And Howard going to make an easy play right there for out number 2. That is going to bring up Macy Gilman.
And the thing is, too, as a hitter, if you're on the plate and they're throwing you inside, and then you decide to scooch off the plate, now if it looks inside, it's probably really inside.
Absolutely.
And if it's where it was earlier, then it should be right in your wheelhouse. So you have to be able to understand that.
But also, too, as an umpire, you notice that. You notice someone back off like that. You know, it really opens up the strike zone. It makes it a lot harder on yourself as a batter.
Absolutely. Now I'm just looking at where they're standing in Gilman here. A little up on the plate as well.
Change up going to be a little bit low there for 1-1. You know, Howard working right now. Humming here in the top of the sixth for the Bulldogs. Goes inside. That is going to be a 1-2 count now for Howard. Good pitch there. And that one just ran way inside there, and I say inside, I mean off target, and it hit the Pirate batter. So Macy Gilman going to take her base.
And this is going to be a pinch hitter here as well. This is going to be Jody Glenn Millhouse.
Oh, sister, absolutely.
The older sister, I believe Jody is, I think. I don't remember.
Jody is a senior, and Riley is a junior.
And then pinch running as well is going to be number 4.
That is Logan.
Oh, man.
Kieselhorst. One of the two.
You were so right.
Kieselhorst.
Good job.
You know those German last names. So hopefully I'd get those right. Even though I'm a Jones. Very German in ancestry. And the Bulldogs going to make an easy play right there. Tavery Ortiz over to... oh, man, I lost it. Faith Hernandez at first base, and the Bulldogs going to escape the top of the sixth there. So stay with us over the change.
All right, and welcome back here. Bottom of the 6th inning. Bulldogs lead 3-0. And we got Taylor Vanette leading things off.
A little bit outside there for ball 1.
And Sophia Duarte still going strong. I think, like you mentioned earlier, she's settled in really well.
Sure has. And, you know, competing well today. You know, going into this one, you know, I don't know all that much. And, you know, I follow TLU softball, but obviously not as closely as you and Easton. But, you know, I was, you know, maybe a little bit, I don't know necessarily what the right word was. But, you know, I thought it wouldn't be as close as it has been. You know, I thought we were going to, you know, dominate. And they've played a good game today, so, you know, props to the Pirates and, you know, big props to Duarte in the circle.
And that's
3-1 count now.
And that's probably the best part about calling these games is every team that comes in here to play TLU
Gonna give you your best shot. They're gonna,
Absolutely.
you got a huge target on your back, being number 6 nationally. And Southwestern gonna go ahead and make the play. But you're absolutely right, and as someone who's lived it and done it, it's. It makes it tough, when everybody's going to give you your best shot. Like you said, they took a game off of us last year, and, Bulldogs got to fight.
Chesley Swisher up again, and she's going to lay down a bunt, running hard, and she's going to be safe. Nice infield single there from the freshman.
Great effort there to get across the bag, too. Now, I guess a little bit of a lineup change as
I have no clue who this is going to probably Kylie Jack. Yep, and this is going to be number 44, Kylie Jack, coming in to hit for Hernandez.
Now, would I be correct to assume that she's also going to play first base? Or not so sure?
It's a coin flip. She may not.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Depends how she's done defensively at practice, but
absolutely.
Faith does a really good job defensively. So
she does. Very calming presence over there at first base.
Yes, there's one thing about Faith, it's that she's very calm. Never really see her get too amped up or anything.
Unlike her second baseman and shortstop, who are always pretty fired up. Chesley Swisher going to try and take a base, and she is thrown out. Big play there from the Pirate catcher, Emery Bell. That's a big play for the Pirates. Took a good lead and, good pace, but fastball down the middle made it pretty easy for Emery Bell to pop right up and throw that one. 2-1 count now.
So now, I'm glad you mentioned that, because now that's how Collier got to hit earlier.
You're right.
Because Collier is now the DP and Bell is now behind the plate.
That's right. Because I noticed they had changed.
I was trying to figure it out. I really was.
Alexander had been behind the plate. Going outside there. Not going to get it. So 3-2 count now to Eduarde.
I love watching Jack when she's up to bat as well. She's got a great eye from the left-handed side, power hitter.
Oh, and she goes for it, but goes out swinging. Big strikeout there for Eduarde. Now top of the 7th, if Southwestern's going to find a way to get back into it, it's going to have to be right here. So big inning here for the Bulldogs, and we will be right back. And welcome back. And that pitch a little bit off target there. And Caitlin Howard will look to clear her head and, get there. And my mother in the comment section did not tell her I was calling softball today. She figured that out. And Russell going to get underneath that one for out number 1.
Yeah, we love seeing the comments, fans. It makes us happy. Keeps us entertained,
Absolutely. And another high ball, but batter going to take a swing. So 0-1 count now to Howard. A little bit, not out of control maybe, but maybe a little bit, the rise ball getting away from her a little bit right there. Going to look to regroup here. Fastball a little bit low. Rodriguez trying to frame it, but can't quite get the umpire to change his mind. 1-1 count here to Emery Bell.
I was thinking about it, too, after Bell took her first swing. Kind of realized how much I enjoy watching her as a player.
Very good player.
Coming in nice as a freshman in the leadoff's crazy. That's a big task to do, and she's done a good job, and then even behind the plate and got a caught stealing against this team.
She reaches for that one on the changeup, so 2-2 count now to Howard. Bulldogs trying to escape with this one. Right down the middle, chopped over to Kaylee Clark, gonna make the play at first base, and the Bulldogs take care of that ball for out number 2.
Gotta love the athletes on this team. Clark, running over a good bit.
Yeah, that was a good ways.
And a hard hit ball, too, by Bell.
Absolutely. It came off the bat pretty quick and, very comfortably, went and made that play. Now the Pirates probably feeling some pressure here as number 2, Daniela Clark, up to bat. One-0 count now. Howard inside. Umpire not going to give. 2-0 count.
It's a good spot, too, on the inside part of the play. Not a bad miss, but nice hitter's count here for Clark.
And the changeup, and Howard going to get it. So 2-1 now. And, if you're Clark and Southwestern right here, you're just trying to find a way to extend this game and get on base. But, Howard's going to do everything in her power to keep that from happening. She lays a fastball in there. Inside, though, 3-1 now. And, now we're in an interesting spot here as we get down the stretch here. Fastball again, a little bit inside, and that is fouled off. So full count here.
Add some drama to your Friday night.
Absolutely. And, here is one of those life lessons, playing with Dad, full count, to end the game here. And, what you're always told is you need your best pitch. So we'll see if Howard has one right here. She goes. Fastball inside and so close there from Howard. Tough break for the Bulldogs. Maybe a different day, different umpire, that's strike 3. But Bulldogs going to keep battling.
Nice 2-out base runner as well. If you're the Pirates, like you said, all you want is base runners. You can't win the game right now with one swing. You can't. Like Riley Glenn Millhouse, her run essentially means nothing. She just needs to get on base.
That ball fouled up. Harley Russell underneath it. That is going to take care of things for the Bulldogs. So, your final going to be 3 to Texas Lutheran, 0 to Southwestern.
And I don't know. I don't think I have any final thoughts. I know we may try and get you guys a post-game interview with head coach Wade Wilson. We'll talk to him a little bit there. But any final thoughts for you, Chris? Your first day out here at Mork Softball Field.
I've had quite a good time, Sydney. I've enjoyed, the pace of it. It's fast paced, and, they are very disciplined and, very good at what they do. It's always exciting watching good softball and, great athletes do their thing here at Texas Lutheran. And it's always exciting when the Bulldogs find a way to get a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just game 1 of the series, so we'll be right back out here tomorrow at 1 p.m., I believe. Okay, good. I had it right in my calendar. 1 p.m., and we will see you guys back here tomorrow. And signing out, this is Sydney and Chris Jones, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.